Hi, this is Eddie with A Mindful Emergence, where Margaret and I offer mindfulness, movement, and breathing practices for your healing and spiritual transformation. We're in the waking up business, and most of our work now is with plant medicine. This particular video I am making because I want to talk about my changed relationship with cannabis. But first, I should mention that I identify as a person in long term recovery. In April of 2007, I went to treatment because I had a problem with substances that I couldn't figure out and overcome on my own. And since then, I have been able to stay away from alcohol and any street drugs, as well as being incarcerated, even being arrested. So I do identify as someone in long term recovery. Yet, about 4 years ago, I started using plant medicine and other psychedelics. And I did not use these medicines to find recovery. I had already found recovery. I did it to help me deal with the trauma that I experienced when I went to prison at age 22 as a result of my narcotics use. I went through a lot of trauma in that experience that I've continued to work with. And cannabis has been a big help. So, about 4 years ago, I started working with different medicines. And over that time period since then, I've done ketamine, ayahuasca, psilocybin, San Pedro, LSD, MDMA, which is actually not a psychedelic, it's an empathogen, and who knows what else? Oh, 5-MeO, DMT, DMT, and so on. But while I was doing these different plant medicines intentionally, therapeutically, I told Margaret, I say, listen, these are okay, but I need to stay away from cannabis. And she said, why? And I said, because it was a big problem. And it was, but it was how I used it. I started using cannabis when I was 19. I know, late bloomer, but I grew up in a small town. I went to a small college. And the first time I smoked pot, grass, weed, I thought, this is unbelievable. And initiated my relationship with cannabis, which was fine for a while. But as I continued it after I got out of prison, cannabis was something I used to numb the pain. It was used to check out. I didn't understand how the trauma of prison had affected me. And I didn't have the skills and the resources on how to work with it in an effective way. So I ended up self medicating a lot with alcohol and cannabis. I never went back to heroin, which is what put me in prison. But cannabis was a big problem. In fact, it was such a problem, I couldn't even bring it in the house because I just end up using it and not getting anything done. I turned into a real slug. I was using it to check out. And then, after I started using these other plant medicines, and by the way, addressing the trauma with various modalities, I still thought cannabis was off the table. But thanks to a friend who I interviewed here recently, Dave Metz, and there's another video on the channel where he talks about using legal cannabis therapeutically. Thanks to him, I helped understand that I could take a different approach to using cannabis. So initially, I started using some gummies, some Delta 8s, Delta 9s, some for pain management, but also, just to relax and see if I could open up different insights and awarenesses using it. But where the real breakthrough came is when I understood that I could buy legal cannabis, and this is the dispensary Sunfruit that I typically use here in Asheville, North Carolina. I could buy different strains of cannabis, blend them, and actually use it as a psychedelic very, very effectively. And the beauty about using cannabis in this way is it gives us more agency. What do I mean by that? Well, if I take 4 or 5 grams of psilocybin, when I'm in the experience, it can bring up a lot. It can be very powerful. It can be very meaningful if I go about it with the right setting and skills. But when I'm in it, it's hard to work with it. Same is true with certainly ayahuasca. I mean, you're off and running with that, let me tell you. So there's no negotiating with it. With cannabis, there is. I can smoke a little bit and I can just, and I always meditate right after I do it. And I can really check into my body. And what I've been able to do in recent times is to develop a very subtle, intuitive awareness of my body and all the sensations. And I've been able to actually sort of file off the rough edges, the sharp edges that have been there all along. It's helped me reduce my defensiveness. It's helped me just expand my awareness to be more playful, to be more fun, to be a nicer person to be around. Now, I'm not saying I'm getting high all the time because I'm not. I use it very selectively and strategically, but it's all about intention. This is what the point is. When I was using it before, I was using it to get loaded. Now I use it to wake up. So I'm not trying to talk you into doing anything. I just want to offer this perspective on from my own anecdotal personal experience of what's possible when we change our intention. Because right now, cannabis is helping me so much. And you know what? I still identify as a person in long term recovery. And I know a lot of people are going to have problems with that. They'll disagree with me, and that's okay. Everyone can have their own opinion. The bottom line is, I know I need to do what I need to do for my own recovery, my own transformation. And cannabis has helped me. So if you have any thoughts, if you have any experiences, I want to hear them. Put them in the comments. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. And then check out our other videos. I've done a number of them recently on a variety of different plant medicines and psychedelics. And hopefully you'll find something else in there that you may enjoy. Thanks very much for watching.